Hello, YouTubers. Well, I like my winter beer. It's coming along here. It's on Saturday morning, November 25th. Michigan and Ohio State game day here at noon. Excuse me. At 0213 in the morning Eastern time. Here's a little coffee in the Rip-On cup. All right, see. Why are you up at 0213 in the morning, Joe? You ask. Well, the answer is because I went to bed and I can't go to sleep, and I get thinking about people I miss, and I just get thinking about people I miss. You know, I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You miss them, and so there you are. Yeah, there you are. I guess it's better to be awake and missing people than to be asleep and not giving a damn about people, which I certainly don't want to do about this individual. Traveling, hopefully. Well, I'm flogging that horse into the ground, and I don't. Much as I don't like horses, I don't want to be cruel to them. On a Saturday, well, kind of two sad nights, really. My son's dog, and his wife, Carter's dog, their dog, Daisy dog, D-Dog, as I've always called her, and in which she always delighted when she came up, and I said, D-Dog, D-Dog, D-Dog. Her suffering had become uncontrollable by drugs, so it was time. And Carter, much to his credit, insisted on being there, and that's good. And no, don't use that fucking closure word. Anybody who uses the word closure needs to have their like a ball peen hammer taken to their skull, because people who use that word aren't thinking critically, and they're generally underlyingly idiots. But he wanted to be part of that experience, or have that experience, because that's important. I was there for every time one of my dogs died. Oh, you had to be. Well, I had to be. Actually, under a few circumstances, I had to be. But part of the dog dying is knowing that they're cared about until the end. So good for you, Carter. I'm proud of you. This is really strong coffee I made in that French pressy thing I showed you, a few days back. Good stuff. Well, so I think I'm up for the long haul. I may as well finish watching Friday Night Lights. I'm not quite into the 5th season, but I think by the time the kickoff happens here at noon, I think I might, with Ohio State, Michigan, that's only 9 hours away. I think I can probably, put that series in the bag. That one. Meanwhile, today I have heard. Well, Liz came over technically last night, but in the evening here of the same circadian nighttime. And and so we talked. I mean, it was a wonderful evening over there last night. I mean, I just, always is. And I mean, just great. I mean, a lot of stuff I couldn't tell you about because it's all very, I mean, well, I know I forgot that I didn't tell you about it earlier, but yeah, just a lot of confidential stuff I can't tell you about involving her and involving Henry in terms of their professional lives and so forth. But when Henry gets yakking, it's just he's just so absolutely funny, and just laughing. Just laughing for about two and a half hours continually, and so it's fun. And I've got, they gave me enough food to eat for about the next 2 weeks, so I'm not sitting around piecing on it. I'm having some coffee in the Ripon cup. See, you got Ripon. This is but I'll move on to the Durham Cathedral cup here probably in a bit. Of course, while I was lying in bed, just trying to go to sleep, I mean, I read a bit. That didn't make me sleepy. Usually makes me sleepy. I'll fall asleep. And so I looked at Grindr, and there's, it's amazing, the stuff that you find that you've never noticed. Well, I don't look at it, but every 2 or 3 days anyway now, and. Well, I don't, and I don't want to because of my friend, in the Southern Hemisphere. And yes, I know he said I can and all that. And that's fine, but I just don't feel right about that. But I still look at it. Wait, look at stuff, don't you? I'm sure he's looking around too. I mean, in his own way. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, apparently he's had some coursework to do on this apprentice thing here tomorrow. I don't know whether he's actually got a class today, or whether it's like there's coursework that he's got to study for. He said he's studying in any case. So. And I don't know how that thing works, so I was very interested to hear that. So it was nice. I mean, to hear from him, it really was. Yeah, it's nice. I miss the guy desperately, and I told him that. Can't help it. That's what I do. I do. Okay. So, okay. Asked and answered, stated and said, that sort of thing. I'm trying not to blow my nose because hernia is starting to pop out on me not starting to. I mean, it just makes it pop out even more when I blow my nose. So it's kind of like a two-ended thing. You sort of put your hand down and then you blow. You have to hold this thing in. So I haven't heard. I didn't think I'd hear. I hope I'll probably hear on Monday or Tuesday from AJ's office to get this. When we're going to get this thing fixed. Is this we are going to get this fixed? No, it'd be like me get it fixed. Where AJ fixes my hernia. Meanwhile, my son, while he also texted me, or not texted me, emailed me about, because we do email. Well, sometimes we text. But we primarily communicate by email. He's old enough that he'll do email rather than insist on the fucking text. There's a generational difference. That's okay. The other differences make it all worthwhile. But then I don't want to have sex with my son, obviously. You need to put the dogs and kids away on this one. His mother's still in the hospital, and his analysis of the situation was she's refusing to eat, walk, and shit. And I know her. I do. I'm a contrary son of a bitch. No, she makes me look like a sandbox amateur when she wants to get contrary. So, man, I don't know. I don't particularly want to have a contest on that right now. But Thomas said, he says, I'm just going to go over and tell her to eat, walk, and shit. Well, that's actually not a bad sort of, placard they could put up, in rest homes. Eat, walk, shit. Eat, walk, shit. Because if you don't eat, you're going to die. If you don't walk, you're going to get a pulmonary embolus and die. And if you don't shit, you're going to get obstructed and back up and die. So it kind of like covers all the bases, doesn't it? Eat, walk, shit. Eat, walk, shit. Oh, this is good. The trick is to not let it sit. One, don't bring the water to a boil. Two, don't let the stuff sit there for more than 3.5 minutes in the little pressy thing, right? Otherwise, it gets bitter and acidic and just awful. And three, if you put it in a small enough cup like this, it cools off so you can have it right away. I'm going to go get the Durham cup now, and you can look at that. Here, come here. Well, be careful, Joe. Don't spazzing around here. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see. Instead of spazzing around, would be differently abled around. Don't go going differently abled around. Let's see. It was great. You go the first time I went over to England. It said, save our spastics. They had, these great street spastic shop. It was called a spastic shop. Basically, it was like a Goodwill. It's like it's like a remainder store. I mean, it was like a Goodwill store. Charity spastic store. And of course, this is like my friend and I, Brad Nixon and I were just going wild on that because Anyway, so here is. I don't want to spill this in my computer. God forbid. That's the part of it. That's the part of Durham you rarely see. But here on the inside is, of course, the interior. And that's where you sit for evening prayer. I mean, you sit up in the choir for evening prayer. It's sublime. So, God bless us all. Now, okay. Well, I've talked to you about the dying dog, well, the now dead dog. I've talked to you about my man in the southern hemisphere. How do you like this? This is healed up. This is now sort of officially healed. I can sort of rub my hand over it now. It's been 3.5 weeks. Henry saw it for the first time last night. Because I went over there and I would have, otherwise if he had seen it, I would have had like a longer sleeve shirt on because it was fucking cold last night. But I wanted to show these boys off. Or this one anyway. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I'm so glad I did all 3 of these, and I'm enjoying all 3 of these. I guess I better, shouldn't I? There they are. Oh, gosh, I mean, here we are, it is 0228. Excuse me. And that's fine. But, sometimes you can sleep, sometimes you can't, sometimes I don't think about folks, sometimes I do. I can't help it. And they can't help it either. It's not their fault that I'm, this guy didn't make me fall. I'm just go on and on and on about it. And in a way I apologize, in a way I don't. The day I end up shutting up about it will be the day that you know that something's happened one way or the other. And no, not the C wordy, not the closure. If anybody ever wants me to intellectually respect them, don't ever use that word with me. Because the minute I hear you use that word, I will lose all intellectual respect for you forever. Amen. That shows me that you're an idiot. And do not think critically. Do not use that word with me. I don't know. On the other hand, maybe you're not vying for my intellectual respect. I don't. I just. Well, it's true though. Resolution to an issue. How's that? This is good. I'm going to have some more of this. I may get all hopped up here by about 6 or 8 in the morning. We'll find out. I think I'll be doing other things here by then. Because my plan is to finish watching Friday Night Lights by kickoff time there at Ohio State, Michigan. Go Bucks. Go Blues. Yeah. I mean, I used to be really well. I still am into. I don't think I watched it last. Well, I didn't watch it last year because it was on cable, and I, as a simple non-cable subscriber, could not, as I usually did do for pretty much all my life, watch it on over-the-air broadcast television. But no. Because Ohio State University and the Big Ten and their whoring out mentality kept people that actually, like had gone to the schools, who occasionally donated money, which I had, but that's not why I donated the money. I donated money to help the agriculture college and the medical school. Oh no! See, that's being a bit unfair because they did offer me a sweet deal, since I was a donor, I could. But see, I decided not to whore out either, because I like to think at least I have at least some degree of a sense of ethics and self-respect. But we're all whores, and in the end, we're all whores. We are. It's just a matter of price. It's just a matter of price. It's the old joke about, maybe would you go to bed with me for $5 million? Well, yeah. He says, well, you're just a whore. He says, I'm not a whore. He says, well, you go to bed with me for $5? He says, no. He says, so now we're just talking about price. We're just negotiating. That's an old joke that you have to, that sort of thing. But it's the same thing, and it's the same thing in medicine when you're made to do a case that you just soon not get involved in. Now, in my case, it was, and I know there's going to be, people are going to be clicking off all over the universe. In my case, it's organ harvesting. If you're already dead, i.e., if the patient is, or the individual, or the body is dead, from which they are taking out the organs, now it's called organ harvesting, then why do you need an anesthesiologist there? To have me there implies that the individual's still alive. Now, I have many reasons: aesthetic, theologic. I admit these are not mainstream objections. It's just, would I have it done to me? No. Would I donate? No. Do I know people that have benefited from it? Yes. But, okay, so I fought the good fight for a number of years, and of course, at some, eventually I was just essentially, so like my back was against the wall. So here comes Starzl in from Pittsburgh to chop out this guy's liver. We all were quiver when you cut out the liver and put it in the pan. Anyway, so he flies in on his jet, Fort Columbus from Pittsburgh Airport, and I'm supposed to, so they bring over this guy. Actually, there was one time that we had a very aggressive neurosurgeon that liked to bring these guys over while they're still bucking on the tube. He's essentially still alive, and I would always refuse. I said, "You got to send this guy back. This guy's still alive. He's technically not brain dead." And he was a real asshole. I mean, he was he was one of these short little fireplug assholes. He liked to go off to Turkey and watch hangings, military hangings. I shit you not. That was his vacation time, and he would show me nude pictures of his wife on his little key ring, like one of these little kaleidoscope things. He was a sweetheart. He was a great neurosurgeon. Don't let him do your carotid. Don't let him decide if you're brain dead or not, because you're gonna be chopped open while you're still alive. It's just like this one micrometer short of vivisection with this guy. But anyway, so I told the guy, I said, look, you got to stop doing that. I said, when the guy actually has no reflexes, I have no choice in the matter. I'll have to, deal with the guy. I said, but if you do this to me again, I'm going to call the Franklin County prosecutor. I'm going to call the Franklin County prosecutor and have you done for murder, or at least manslaughter. You cannot do that, and I refuse to be a party to it. So he let me alone after that for a while. I don't know. I suppose he got somebody else to do his bidding. You can always find somebody to do your bidding at your beck and call. Sirens. Well, so I decided, now we're getting around to the point, aren't we? It takes a while. I figured out if they meaning like Lifeline of Ohio Organ Procurement. That's called LOOP. Lifeline of Ohio Organ Procurement. Isn't that a neat acronym, LOOP? I thought, well, if you sons of bitches are going to make me feel like a whore, then you're going to pay me like a whore. And so, I think the first chopping out of somebody, it's like, it's not, basically you sit there, I mean, essentially, you just stand there and you sit there and you ventilate the individual. Or make sure it stays ventilated, it stays ventilated. Notice I didn't say the patient stays ventilated. And, and so I said, well, I'll just I'll just charge them $1,000. I would say, rather than going through my usual medical billing thing, or the service I used, which took 5%, I'd send them a handwritten bill. For services rendered, $1,000. I'd just say for services rendered. I'll tell you, the check came in almost like instantaneously. So, okay, we know what the traffic will bear at least. Let's see how much the traffic will bear. So next time, for services rendered, $1,500. Check came in. All right. Well, and then I thought, so I kind of worked the $1,500 thing for a while, and then I thought, well, let's just up the ante. So I went to $2,000, and they paid it, but the check didn't come in instantaneously, but it came in. All right, $2,000. But that was more. That was like a multiple. That was like an evisceration. That was like a field dressing. It's like where they take the heart and lungs and liver and kidneys and everything. It's like, it's a field dressing. Like, those of you who have deer hunted, know what I'm talking about. And so I thought, wow, maybe they understand, that it just is really a compromising, horrible thing for me. Listen, I would have gladly not had the money. Trust me, I would have gladly not had the money and not had the. Well, more to the point, not have been forced to do something against my will. That's the point. Don't force me to do something against my will. But if you're going to do it, then you're going to pay me for it. Well, they did for a while. Well, and then another field dressing, and I sent them a bill for $2,500. Well, they just flat out refused to pay that. So I said, okay, well, pay me $2,000. They did. And that was pretty much the last time I dealt with. But I think I probably did about eight of these, field dressings. It's a field dressing. Eviscerations, field dressings. That's what do you want to say? What do you want to call it? And I'm sure everybody out there watches me that knows somebody who's had an organ transplant or a donated organ. This is going to be, you asshole, you know what you're talking about. But yes, I do know what I'm talking about because I've had to go in there and participate in them. Yes, I do. So until you have walked in my shoes and stood where I stood in the operating room and done what I did, much against my will, you can't say a damn word to me. Anyway, they paid. At least to their credit, they at least paid. Well, the organization paid. I meant their donors paid. Meaning the monetary, because it was, I guess, I was like, because you'd get these charity solicitations every year. Donate to Lifeline to my Loop. Donate to Loop. Okay, well, if you donate to Loop, you better be careful what you ask for. Just don't make somebody do what they don't want to do if they're not required legally to do it. And no, physicians in Ohio are not legally required to participate in stuff like that against their will. But because of my hospital appointment, and the fact that, let's just say it was an appropriate time to whore out. So, whored out. Did it long enough that I made my pile and I got out. So there we go. How's that? That's called life, isn't it? It is. That's called life. That's called how the world works. I was out. I went and sent my overseas cards. You know, I sent a birthday card and a couple of Christmas cards. Well, about 5 Christmas cards actually overseas today, and you know, there was nice wind blowing and all. It was like 26 degrees, and you know, I had my nice warm, thick, fuzzy pants on. I didn't have to my neck warmer on. I mean, it was all nice, you know. So this beard is working. It's doing its beard thing. So there we are. I bet y'all wish I could find somebody to sit and talk with, don't you? In a way, I do too. But you know, that turns out that guy's 9,000 miles away, so I can't do much about it. Now I'm gonna put you off for a few minutes because I'm gonna make some more coffee. You might get more of me. Hello, YouTubers. This month, tomorrow is November 25th, and that marks the 5-year anniversary of me signing up for YouTube. Now, I didn't put my first video up until December 1st of 2012, but you know, I've been part of this little enterprise for 5 years now. It's tomorrow. Well, today, actually today. I mean, this is you know, it's like, you know, 02:58 right now, Eastern Time on the 25th. I just made some more coffee. Liz and I burnt down some candles here tonight while we were sitting here shooting the breeze. I'm going to put this down, otherwise I'm going to spill it. Let's not be a spaz here, Joe. Oh, save our spaz. They can't say that anymore over there. They got to be politically correct. Yeah, I mean, cerebral palsy. I mean, that was the accepted term for years. You know, like retard. You know, RETAREDMENTALLY, RETARDD, mentally retarded. You know, and you know the separate school buildings, and you know, none of this mainstreaming stuff, because then you know those unfortunate individuals can get the attention they need, and the people that have been blessed not to be afflicted that way, you know, don't have to be distracted by all that other stuff going on, and so you know, worked out fine, didn't it? Well, I mean, seemed to when I was growing up. And I knew a couple of these you know, just these poor souls. I mean, there was one family, they had the X-linked syndrome, and you know, they had a son and daughter. You know, actually they were the kids of one of my dad's hunting buddies. You know, and the boy was able to live independently eventually, but you know. The girl, the younger sibling, she was considerably worse off, and of course they wanted her to go into my mother's class when, you know, after they got rid of the green old school separate, you know, thing. And okay, well, fine. So my mother, you know, I mean, she had no choice. But she would talk about how this kid, God bless her, you know, and as anymore now when I'm kind of spastic, when I'm trying to put on my clothes or my coat, you know, it's like thinking, you know, maybe I should start just laying it out on the floor like my mother did for this child, you know. So, there, but for the grace of God, go each and every one of us, folks. There, but for the grace of God. I actually thank God almost every day that didn't happen to Thomas. You know, because of course when Faith was deciding whether to kill Thomas, you know, in utero, you know, and they didn't have the genetic tests then. I mean, they did, but they were massively expensive. I mean, so this was like, you know, is he going to be? But fortunately, he wasn't. That way. Oh, now speaking of that way, apropos of nothing, now, I went to the post office today, as I said, to mail these overseas letters. Now, I'm almost out of stamps, so I wanted to get some stamps that weren't, cutesy, fartsy, artsy. I wanted like an American flag or, like stamp, U.S. stamp on it. I didn't want anything that was like, well, God forbid you get anything that says Christmas on it here in the United States from a government agency. So I go to the little machine. I mail the stuff at the counter, and then I go get, and it showed here's the stamp you'll get. And it showed an American flag, and I thought, great, fine, this is exactly what I want. But instead, I got, pause this thing and look at it. It's some sort of like Christmas cookie bullshit. I'm sorry. Holiday cookie bullshit. What are you gonna do? I mean, that's what they sell. There's no choice. There was a guy at the counter that was actually buying stamps at the counter rather than from the little machine out in the lobby. And he said, "Look, I don't want this stuff." I guess they were offering him a stamp that said "Fa La La" on it. Now this one doesn't say "Fa La La," but he says, "Does it say Fa La La?" She said, "Yeah, yes." I didn't notice. The woman said, "I didn't notice that." For a while. It's Fa La La. He says, "Is that all you guys?" He says, "Yeah." She says, "That's all we have." So that's our government helping us. That's political correctness, now, appearing on my envelopes near you. Anyway, you can, the overseas mailing rate now is $1.15 for an ounce. So it's cheap enough to mail letters overseas, but God help you if you're trying to mail a package overseas. But if you have stuff delivered from in country, that's fairly reasonable. Basically you're paying for the gift and so forth. All right, I think I've bloviated on here about enough. It's now 03:05. I had no idea I'd be up this early, but I'll watch the Michigan game. I'll watch the Ohio State Michigan game. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I won't. I don't mean. I think it's actually on network television. I might be able to watch it. If not, I'll be watching something. Meanwhile, I'm going to have some coffee. I think this is probably. Let's see if this is cool enough now. It's hot. I really don't like to drink hot stuff. I like hot stuff, but I don't like to drink hot stuff. I like to eat hot stuff. I'll say bye-bye, YouTube.